Hello, second and third graders. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Wednesday. Welcome to math for today. This week, and probably for the next few weeks, almost till the end of the school year, we are going to be working on our math facts, and in particular, multiplication. Yes, you heard that right, second graders, multiplication. It is time for you guys to start learning some of this too. What's going to happen is third graders, you've been working on this quite a while. We have kids that are in all different places. No matter if you think you know your multiplication facts, we always want to get to know them better and get to know them faster. Because the faster we can recall them and know them, the better off we are. And why they're so important is they show up in math all the time and they show up in your life all the time as you get older. So we want to continue to work and work and work and talk about what that is. So, whether you're a second or third grader, what's really important for multiplication or anything is we understand what it is or how it works. So, multiplication is repeated addition, equal grouping. So, we've all done our addition facts, 5 plus 5, which is, hopefully you're thinking in your head at home, 10. Well, that is a multiplication fact too. It's two fives, right? 5 and 5. That just means 5 times 2 because there is two fives. And that's how that works. Now, we've worked second graders and third graders a bit on skip counting this year. So that was just skip counting by fives, right? 5, 10. Now, we can do that even more. If I start going here on my whiteboard and think 5 plus 5 plus, get a little bigger. And I hold out something like that. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. I've actually got to count how many that I've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the same as saying 5 times 5. Because there's 5 groups of 5. And that's going to equal, if we skip count, now we start with 5s because 5s are one of the first things, one of the easiest to skip count by is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Get 25 as our answer. So that's our skip counting right there. Now, not all numbers are as easy to skip count as 5s are. Some are not. Now, if we think of ones that are easier, hopefully ones. Hopefully we can count very quickly by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2s are pretty easy. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, so on. 5s, we said. 10s are pretty easy. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Then there's some that are a little bit trickier, like 3s. 3, then 3 more, 6, then 9, then 12, then 15, then 18, then 21, so on and so forth. A little bit harder. Same with 4s. And then those 6, 7s, and 8s get to be really, really tricky. And that's why we've got to work on some strategies to help with those, because most of the time we can't rattle those off until we get really, really good at math facts. Once you get really, really good, it doesn't matter the number, whether it's 8's going 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, and so on and so forth. You'll be able to do that if you work really hard. But to get back to our math facts here, when we work with skip counting, just like we did, I'm going to go away from 5s. Now I'm going to go to one of those little bit harder ones of 3. If I did 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, so all we see is 3 there. So if we were going to turn that into a multiplication problem, equation, we would start with the number that we see, which is 3. But then we have to say, well, how many 3s are there? I see 1, 2, 3, 4 3s. That means 3 times 4 is our multiplication problem when we look at that. Because we're using the number 3 and it's repeated 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Now we have to add in our head, think skip count in our head. 3 times 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 more is 9. 1 more 3 is 10, 11, 12. Get my answer. So skip counting, skip counting. That's what your assignment is going to be today, is we're going to work on those skip countings. I'm going to have you skip count every number and write that down so that we get to try that. Now we can even start to do it with those little bit harder ones, like say a 7. They just might take longer for some of you guys because you haven't worked with these numbers over and over again yet. So 7, 7, 7. That means 3 sevens. 7 plus 7, 14. 7 more is 21. That means our multiplication sentence is going to be 7 times how many were there? 3. Also equals 21. That's how our multiplication works. Now there's also some drawings that we can use as we're just getting started with them. I don't think we'll get that to today because I just want you to focus on the skip counting. But the last piece of information that I am going to give you is that just like an addition problem, multiplication problems can be turned every which way. That means just like in an adding problem, if I do 3 plus 6 or 6 plus 3, 3 plus 6 is 9 and 6 plus 3 is 9. It doesn't matter which way you stack it, which way you turn it. They're the same thing. Same way when I go with my multiplication problems. That problem that I gave you 3 times 4, if you can think back in your video, we decided 3, 6, 9, 12. If I turn that around and do 4 times 3, it's also going to equal 12. Because if we were to take the time and do it the other way, skip count by 4 3 times, 4 plus 4 is 8, 4 more is 9, 10, 11, 12. So multiplication, you can work both ways, which is a good thing. That means every time we learn a new multiplication problem, we actually learn 2. And in some cases, you learn a few more, and we'll learn about that more. So skip counting today. We want to practice that. Now, I'm sure most of you have those 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, all the way down to our 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And don't worry if you still use your fingers as you count, because you can think 2 times 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Ran out of fingers there with my marker. I can still do that. That's okay for now. Eventually, we won't want to use those, but as we start, we can. And third graders, don't get bored with this because we are going to be turning on the gears to our division and how that relates to our multiplication here very shortly. So take this kind of as a warm-up to things that we've already done this year. But second graders and third graders, make sure as you work on your assignment today, when we do some of those harder ones, you really, really practice. Don't just do it once. Get a pencil and paper. And when I tell you to skip count by 6s, you don't just do it once for the problem. Take a piece of paper and write 6. That's 1. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 plus 6 is 24. 24 plus 6 is 30. 30 plus 6 is 36. And then 42. Take the time and count it out and write it and then practice it. Hopefully yours looks neater than mine. And think 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. 6, 12, 18, 20, 30, 36, 42. And soon, 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 you'll be able to do that in your head the same way you can with your 5s, 2s, 1s, and 10s. So practice, practice, practice when you write those down. Think about it. Say them in your head 10 times, just like you were learning spelling words. And then the more you practice on them, you'll keep going. And as you skip count by it, I'm going to ask you to do each of them 10 times for starter. So if you were skip counting by 3s, you would go this high. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. And on the 10th one, you would stop. If you were doing it by nines, you would go 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. And then you can stop after 10 of them. That way, when you start to get those problems here in a few days, you can think 9 times 3, 9, 18, 27. And you'll be able to get there. Or you'll be able to write it. We'll work on that too. Good luck with your assignment today. Make sure you contact me if you have any questions. I'd love to help.